You ever feel like history's just one big crazy ride? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today, as we try to figure out where the truth really hides in this roller coaster of history. So let's start with a huge question. Is history an endless cycle? I mean, are we actually moving forward, making real progress? Or are we all just kind of stuck on a loop, repeating the same highs and the same lows over and over again? The diplomat Rubens Recupero had this perfect metaphor for it. He said, forget about history being some straight line of progress. It's not. It's a roller coaster. You know the feeling? These incredible euphoric peaks, and then bam, these sudden stomach-churning drops into crisis. So, let's strap in, right? Time to explore this whole idea of the roller coaster of history. And the idea is actually pretty simple, but it's really profound when you think about it. We all like to imagine we're on this steady climb, progress. But what if it's not like that at all? What if it's just this constant up and down, these amazing peaks of enthusiasm followed by these deep, frustrating valleys? We climb, we soar, and then we come crashing right back down, just to start the whole ride all over again. So, what's even getting us to the top of that hill in the first place? Well, a lot of the time, it's just a big dose of wishful thinking. Which brings us to our next section, the cycles of illusion. Just look at some of these moments in Latin America, for example. You had Argentina with its amazing era of cows and wheat. Then there was Brazil's so-called economic miracle back in the 70s. For a hot minute, Venezuela was even called Saudi Venezuela, and people were saying Chile was going to be the New Zealand of Latin America. I mean, these were the highs. These were the thrilling climbs to the very top of the roller coaster. And what happened next? You can probably guess, right? Every single one of those miracles was followed by a collapse. Every myth just crumbled. The ride always went down. It's this relentless, predictable pattern of boom and bust. Okay, so it's easy to get lost in all this big picture, national narrative stuff. But it makes you wonder, if the grand story of history is just this chaotic up and down ride, what about us? What about ordinary people? Where do we fit in? Where do we find what's real? And this is where we need to totally shift our perspective. Because maybe, just maybe, the answer isn't in that grand narrative at all. Maybe it's somewhere else. Let's talk about the incredible strength of small gestures. There's this story from Jefferson Tenorio's book, Estela Sem Deus, it hits so hard. Picture it. A father is a no-show, the kids are incredibly thirsty on a super hot day, and the bartender, he offers them a single glass of hot, dirty water, basically with a sneer. I mean, it's total humiliation. But the mother, she's not having it. She refuses to let that stand, she marches back in, demands respect, and walks out with 3 glasses of ice-cold water for her kid. And in that moment, the narrator gets it. This was never really about the water. Not at all. His mother was teaching them something huge, something profound about dignity. She was showing them, you do not accept disrespect. You stand up and you fight for your worth, even if it's for something as small as a clean glass of water. And the result of all that, the brother finally drinks, and the author describes it as a happy cough. Think about that. It's not some big national miracle. It's not a huge historical event that's going to be in the textbooks. It's just a small, personal, but incredibly meaningful victory. It's a moment where dignity was reclaimed. So how do we square these two things? You've got the giant, chaotic roller coaster of history on one side, and these small, powerful moments of human dignity on the other. Well, that brings us to our final part, finding the essential. The writer Fernando Sabino actually gave us a great way to think about this. He basically splits the world into 2 things. First, there's the accidental. That's all the big stuff, right? The headlines, the politics, the noise of that historical roller coaster. And then there's the essential, and that is where the real truth is. It's found in things like human dignity, in love, in the joy you can find in simple moments. So Sabino tells this story about a writer who's just stuck. He's totally blocked. He's desperately searching for some big, important theme to write about. But everywhere he looks, all he sees is the accidental, the boring, everyday stuff. And he just feels completely disconnected, like nothing around him matters. But then he sees something. It's this quiet, simple little scene. He sees a poor family huddled together in a humble little bar, and they're celebrating a kid's birthday with a tiny, plain cake. There's no big fanfare, no grand gestures. It's not historically significant in any way. It's just a pure, simple moment of human connection. And that's it. That's the huge realization. The essential. The stuff that really matters, it's not in the big headlines or the historical cycles. It's in our own ability to create meaning and joy, right here, right now, with whatever we have. So I guess that leaves us with one final, really important question. With all the noise of the world's roller coaster, with all the peaks and all the valleys, for you, where does the essential live?